Hi, I will be doing my oral interpretation on Whitman's letter to Emerson in 1856. The passage I'm reading from begins on page 643 in Michael Moon's edition on line 246. Later on, while reading, I will skip from line 298 down to line 234. America, having duly conceived, bears out of herself offspring of her own to do the workmanship wanted. To freedom, to strength, to poems, to personal greatness, it is never permitted to rest, not a generation or part of a generation. To be ripe beyond further increase is to prepare to die. The architects of these states laid their foundations and passed to further spheres. What they laid is a work done, as much more remains. Now are needed other architects, whose duty is not less difficult, but perhaps more difficult. Each age forever needs architects. America is not finished, perhaps never will be. Now America is a divine true sketch. There are 32 states sketched, the population 30 millions. In a few years there will be 50 states. Again, in a few years there will be 100 states, the population hundreds of millions, the freshest and freest of men. Of course such men stand to nothing less than the freshest and freest expression. Poets here, literates here, are to rest on organic different bases from other countries, not a class set apart, circling only in the circle of themselves, modest and pretty, desperately scratching for rhymes, pallid with white paper, shut off, aware of the old pictures and traditions of the race, but unaware of the actual race around them, not breeding in and among each other till they all have the scrofula, lands of ensemble, bards of ensemble, walking freely from the old traditions as our politics has walked out. American poets and literates recognize nothing behind them, superior to what is present with them, recognize with joy the sturdy living forms of the men and women of these states, the divinity of sex, the perfect eligibility of the female with the male, all the states, liberty and equality, real articles, the different trades, mechanics, the young fellows of Manhattan Island, customs, instincts, slang, Wisconsin, Georgia, the noble Southern heart, the hot blood, the spirit that will be nothing less than master, the filibuster spirit, the Western man, native born perceptions, the eye for forms, the perfect models of made things, the wild smack of freedom, the California money, electric telegraphs, free trade, iron and the iron mines, recognized without demur those splendid resistless black poems, the steamships of the seaboard states, and those other resistless splendid poems, the locomotives, followed through the interior states by trains of railroad cars. A word remains to be said, as one of ever present, as of one ever present, not yet permitted to be acknowledged, discarded, or made dumb by literature, and the result apparent, to the lack of an avowed, empowered, unabashed development of sex, the only salvation for the same, and to the fact of speakers and writers fraudulently assuming as always dead what everyone knows to be always alive, is attributable the remarkable non-personality and indistinctness of modern productions in books, art, talk. Also that in the scanned lives of men and women, most of them appear to have been for some time past of the neutral gender, and also the stinging fact that in orthodox society today, if the dresses were changed, the men might easily pass for women and the women for men. To poets and literates, to every woman and man, today or any day, the conditions of the present, needs, dangers, prejudices, and the like, are the perfect conditions on which we are here, and the conditions for wording the future with undissuadable words. These states, receivers of the stamina of past ages and lands, initiate the outlines of repayment a thousandfold. They fetch the American great masters, waited for by old world and new, who accept evil as well as good, ignorance as well as erudition, black as soon as white, foreign-born materials as well as home-born, reject none, force discrepancies into range, sound the whole, concentrate them on present periods and places, show the application to each and any one's body and soul, and show the true use of precedents. Always America will be agitated and turbulent. This day it is taking shape, not to be less so, but to be more so, stormily, capriciously, on the native principles, with such vast proportion of parts. As for me, I love screaming, wrestling, boiling hot days.